is how can e-commerce and DTC brands choose the right fulfillment partner to meet their needs and goals? So because in the market we have like multiple partners, choices,
Mm.
platforms, but sellers they cannot find the right partner regarding their business model or their online business. So how they can they can do a good choice? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what I was saying before. It's really sort of like analyzing the needs of your business. And I think it's being aware that your priorities as a brand may shift over time. So what's a good fit for you now might not be a great fit for you 12 months, 2 years in future if they don't have the capacity to scale or to keep their tech advanced in the way that you need. So it's almost always having your finger on the pulse and making sure that you're with a provider that's actually the best for you and your customers. So yeah, it's a case of like assessing your priorities as a brand, and what your customer base needs, and then working back from there and making sure you've got a provider that can actually help you with all of those things. So if you're a brand that focuses on like environmentally friendly products, you're going to need an eco-friendly solution. So what's the most eco-friendly carrier? How can you change your packaging to make it as renewable or recyclable as possible? And then it may be that your priorities are fast, or that you need an economy, or quality is really, really important for your brand because you're shipping high quality items and you need to know that every order is going to get there and it's guaranteed, and you've got good like insurance options. So it's really just reverse engineering those main priorities, and then looking for a provider that can meet you there. My advice in terms of how you can make sure that you're actually making the right decision, where possible, always go and visit your provider. If they're unable to facilitate a site tour, that for me as a brand would be a bit of a red flag. I know this isn't always possible when you're looking at cross border, or you're expanding into new markets that are a bit far away. That the return on investment and the spend might be a bit too much. But there's ways around that, right? So if you can't go to the actual site, maybe you could get access to their existing customer base and have a warts and all conversation with them. I think not getting tied into long contracts where possible. So depending on the level that you're at, it may be fundamental. You may need a contract. There's no way around it. But if you're just getting started out, or you're in that sort of like medium market, I think going with a provider that's just confident in their service, and allows you to use it because it's benefiting you, not being tied in for 12 months when actually every month that goes past it's negatively affecting your business, can be a big game changer. And also just regularly reflect and audit your processes, and communication with the fulfillment provider that you're in once you're in there, just to make sure you're continuously improving it. And the main thing that you can do to sort of help your fulfillment provider to make sure that you're getting a good service is take a partnership approach. So just have really, really good communication. So if you know you're about to do a big PR blast, or you're going to be featured on TV or something like that, you'd be amazed the amount of people that don't think to let their fulfillment provider know, because they're too excited about their sales and they're focusing on all other elements of the business, and they've not let their fulfillment provider know, and they get a sudden surge of orders, which, if they'd known about it, would have gone out just fine because they've got the resources that they could have played around with. But without that sort of upfront bit of communication, it can be really, really difficult.
Absolutely. Also, I can add that scale and capacity will be a good point to discuss, because consider just the scale and capacity of the fulfillment partner and whether they can handle your current and future volume. I think the partner will make sure that they have the ability to expand as your business grows. And also, I think the costs and the fees are really important when it comes, to reduce the cost for any business or seller. So the seller needs, to compare the costs and the fees of different fulfillment partners, including the storage, the pick and pack, and the shipping fees, and make sure that these fees are transparent and that the costs are reasonable. And also, of course, finding technology and automation. So you will need to look for a fulfillment partner that has the latest technology and automation in place to minimize, errors and speed up the order of, fulfillment process.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree, and
So yeah, yeah,
it's a particularly difficult industry, seeing as everyone prices ever so slightly differently. So it can be really difficult to compare apples with apples. So you
yeah,
need to have a knowledge of what each element's going into, and be wary of some of those companies that have too complex like fee structures. Because yeah, you can bet there's things that you've not anticipated that might add up over time. And in
yeah,
terms of scale and capacity, definitely. And that's, I would say, not just from an operational standpoint. You need to look at the resources that they've got behind them. That means that they're actually going to keep up to date with tech and stuff like that. Just because you've got an API connection that's working with Shopify today doesn't mean that you're going to have something working tomorrow, for example. And you want something that's going to keep you ahead of the game and not just sort of stuck treading water. And yeah, when you're dealing with your fulfillment companies to try and get a gauge for their sort of expertise in any area, they should be able to provide you with case studies that are relevant to you. So a bit of a use case of someone that they've worked to similar in the past is good evidence for me that they'll be able to facilitate your sort of scale and growth.
amazing, absolutely, absolutely.